All right, everyone. Jim Coventry from RotoWire here for week 16. Talking the start sit live stream. Get everybody set up for their big final fantasy football championship games. What else? DFS, gambling, props, whatever we need. We got you covered. We'll find out some of the inactives in about 30 minutes. If there's a question with those, we definitely can look to that. So let's start getting some questions here. I've got to be looking all over the place here. Okay, we've got people on Instagram, we got Twitter, YouTube, we've got Facebook, we got everything going on here. So basically, looking around, but let's get after your questions. D Hop or DJ Moore? Yeah, DJ Moore, it's going to be a weather game a bit there. It's going to be really cold, really windy. At least DeAndre Hopkins has the benefit of being at home. Third string quarterback, not good. He'll get his targets. So I ultimately think that both have risk, but I think Hopkins is going to get his targets regardless. Jamel Dean is out for Tampa. That helps. I got another Instagram question before I get over to YouTube, Twitter, and all other platforms. Curtis Samuel or Dotson. You know what? The middle of the field is where you do not want to go after the 49ers because they don't give up much of anything there. So I am sitting Curtis Samuel. I'm betting his prop under 29.5 yards today with relative confidence. Obviously, anything can happen in the game. We know that. But I'd go with Dotson. Dotson would match up more favorably with the outside corners. All right, let's get some questions here. All right, Sauger, what do you got here? Let's see. Morning to you as well. Thoughts on game script? Saints and Browns. Run. That's the side. That's it. It's supposed to be 25-mile-an-hour winds. Sub-zero wind chills. Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill is going to be playing a quarterback more than Andy Dalton. I think he's going to be running the read option stuff. I think it's going to be him, Kamara, run. I don't think there's any passing here. So Dalton, I think Dalton goes way under 134 because I don't think he attempts 12 passes. Watson, 145. He goes under too. Because I think it's going to be about Nick Chubb running the ball today, maybe Kareem Hunt. And with that 25-mile-an-hour wind, yeah, I don't think so. I just don't think they're going to throw the ball much at all. Watson might run for some. So I don't think they're going to be much passing there. Kenny, what do you got here? One of the receivers here, Ayuk, Pittman, KJ Osborne. So, you know what? KJ Osborne before last week's game, he had 300 yards in the season. He averaged 25 yards a game. He had 3 good games this year. Detroit, and then last week's 33-point deficit where they had to chase the whole game. Right now, if they're not playing Detroit, which 2 games are off the schedule already, I am playing the probabilities where KJ Osborne is more like a 15 to 20-yard a week guy. I'm not chasing those points. I know Ayuk doesn't have a great ceiling because Purdy isn't getting the ball enough, but he has the ability to make a big play. He has the ability to score a touchdown, and Pittman's going to get his targets. Foles, fine, he's going to get targets. And I think ultimately KJ Osborne's floor is just so low that we have and his ceiling. I mean, last week he had that game, but realistically, I don't think he has a real ceiling. And I know the matchup's great, but I don't think it matters. It's going to be about Jefferson, Thielen, and Hockenson. And if there's scraps, Osborne might get them. I'm not counting on it. Instagram, what else we got here? Sideshow. You need to sit A.J. Brown, Lamb, Waddle, or Godwin. Oh, man, that's a rough one. Waddle ultimately matches up well. There's a lot of soft zone at the Packers play, so I think they're set up really well. A.J. Brown, I think they're going to get him a lot of quick in breakers, and if they get him matched up on the other corners at Dallas, missing since Anthony Brown got hurt, and obviously Jordan Lewis has been out forever. And then Lamb, I think, in the middle of the field is a great place to go. You know what? Much as I love Chris Godwin, he's going to get his volume. I think the other players all have similar floors to him this week, and I think they all have bigger ceilings than Godwin has because I think Tampa Bay will probably have success running the ball, believe that or not. So I'm going to go that route. That's if you have a gut feel, go with it because they're all great options. J. Red, need 2 running back and 2 flex PPR. Algier, Dillon, Slayton, Goodwin, Peoples-Jones, Hollywood Brown, Deion Jackson, Miles Sanders, and Fournette. So Sanders and Fournette are extremely good plays this week. Van Der Esch is out for Dallas. Dallas, once he went out, ETN ran all over them. They can't stop the run without Van Der Esch. He's their thumper. So that's it. And Fournette, great matchup against Arizona. Even split and work with Rachaad White, he should be fine. Receivers, I like Slayton and I like Goodwin. Minnesota's vulnerable to play action, and their corners aren't good, and Slayton takes advantage of play action downfield. Goodwin should get close to 10 targets against Kansas City, and he's been playing very well. The upgrade in workouts. Hollywood, third-string quarterback, don't like it. DPJ, Wynn, don't like it. Deion Jackson's reasonable, but not better than Sanders and Fournette. And Dillon, don't run much against Miami. It's going to be a big passing game for them. So, yeah, and Algier, I'm betting the under on his yards today. He could probably get stuffed by Baltimore. I don't see him running on him. Jay, Merry Christmas to you too. Minshew or Daniel Jones? Yeah, I get this one a lot. It's a good question. I think Minshew has a great floor this week. I mean, I think 230 and 2 touchdowns is what you're going to get out of him. And it could be, if it shoots out, it could be more. Daniel Jones is just really risky, and he has a great matchup. But ultimately, he's Daniel Jones. And I would trust the pieces around Minshew more than I would trust the pieces around Daniel Jones. And if the pass rush for the Vikings gets hot today, that'd be a big problem for Jones. I think Minshew is just kind of insulated from all that. Sorry about the coughing. I'm still dealing with this cold. I'm getting better. Joe Stanley, you got Judy or Pacheco? I think Pacheco. Pacheco, they're playing Seattle. Seattle has tried to stack the box to stop the run lately, and they've had some success, but you're not stacking a box against Patrick Mahomes, so that's a non-starter. So, like I said last week, Pacheco, he can get 12 carries, close to 100 yards, and he did. It's more the same this week, but I think he can get more like 16 to 18 carries this week in this game. It's going to be freezing cold. I think they're going to want to run a little more than usual. Judy, they're playing the Rams. I mean, it's a fine enough matchup. No Aaron Donald, so they're not going to get pass rush. I just think ultimately Pacheco is safer. And I don't know that Judy has more upside. I know he had the 3 touchdown game, but that was an outlier, right? All right, see what else we got here. Jay, you want to know Browns, Chiefs, or Chargers? D. Well, Browns and Saints are going to be run both sides of the ball. I don't know how many turnovers it could be. I mean, there won't be sacks. I don't think there'll be sacks. I think we missed that. I like the Chargers. To get Derwin James back, they're going to bring pressure on Foles. Foles, I think, is an implosion machine. I'd go with that. Delroy, good morning to you too. Made it to the championship. Yay, that's good. Njoku or Andrews? Yeah, that's a tough one, right? They both play in wind games. Extreme wind for Njoku. Andrews not the same, but it's sub-zero, and Tyler Huntley struggles to throw the ball as it is. I think with the 25-mile-an-hour winds in the Cleveland game, that might be extreme. I thought Njoku might get a couple screen passes. Ultimately, let me just double-check my weather notes to see where the heck I've got them under which tab. But here, let me see where I've got it. Open it up here. Yeah, so ultimately the weather, I think, in Mark Andrews game would be a little bit better. And so I just think it's so extreme in the Njoku game. I think I'm going to go with Andrews. If you have a gut feel, go with it. Not so silent majority. Merry Christmas to you, too. Would I start Cooper or DeMarc? Well, Robinson doesn't have good weather either. So it's not the extreme level, but it's not far off. So at that point, I'm just going to say I've got to go Cooper, because Robinson is not in a good spot. Mark Andrews might get a little bit. I just don't see Tyler Huntley having the arm with a frozen ball, sub-zero wind chill. Just don't see it happening. So I've got to go Cooper for that reason. It's a tough call. Delroy, Purdy, or Rodgers. I have Rodgers a top 6 quarterback this week. They're probably going. Green Bay's going to trail. Miami stops the run really well. They don't disguise their blitzes, so Rodgers is going to know it's coming, and their secondary is not good. I think Rodgers pretty safely. Purdy, I think that's a low-volume game today. I think it's a very low-volume game. I think it's all about McCaffrey. Instagram question, Godwin, Hopkins, Watson, or DJ Moore? So Godwin has the best floor of them all, I believe. He's been getting a lot of targets, so I would take him the floor play. If you want to go boom or bust because you need a really, really big game, Watson has that this week. Watson could crush this week because of, again, I said earlier, Miami secondary is not good. They don't disguise blitzes. Rodgers will be able to use some play action, but I think there's floor with Watson. But I think Godwin has a higher floor because he should get you 7 catches minimum, right? But if you want to shoot for the ceiling, that's going to be your Watson play. I take them over Hopkins and DJ Moore on those two. David, Watson or Singletary? Singletary's not in a bad spot. Bears are without Jack Sanborn, the middle linebacker. Not that he was good, but he was their middle linebacker, and they're just down all kinds of people on defense. Allen is going to probably do a lot of RPO stuff in this game, and I think there's going to be room for Singletary. Doesn't get a lot of carries anymore. But I think in this game he might. I think they might have to push the run volume way up. So I think Singletary is way safer, but Watson has a way higher ceiling. So Singletary, if you want, I think you'll get 10 to 14 points out of Singletary in your league. So I think that's safe, but I don't know how much ceiling he has beyond that. So if you want your big ceiling, if you need 25 points, then you got to go with Watson. If you can live with 12 or so, Singletary is safer than Watson for sure. And then we got one more, Brown or Gage. We don't know if Julio's playing. So if Julio playing, then Gage's targets go way down. And it's the same game, though. So here's what you're going to do. If Julio Jones is inactive, you're going to go with Gage. And otherwise, you're going to go Marquise Brown. I think that's the way to look at that one. Honestly, though, like the more I think about it, I think Tampa Bay's had success running the ball. I don't think they have to focus on Gage in this one. You know what? Byron Murphy's out, the outside corner. Let me rethink this one. With the outside corner out, they're going to be able to go with Godwin and Evans. They're not going to need to look to Gage here. So actually, even though I hate the third string quarterback, Brown will be in the slot a little bit more. I'm going to say, let's just make that Marquise Brown all day long on that one. Menace, Godwin, Hopkins, or Juju. Oh, man. Oh, Goodwin. Juju has a safe floor. He's like 8 to 11 targets a week when he's healthy. He had that concussion in a couple weeks around that he wasn't getting it done. I think that floor is too good to pass up. I like Goodwin. I like Goodwin a great deal this week. But Juju's had an amazing floor and a reasonable ceiling. And I don't know that, Goodwin is going to have a phenomenal ceiling here. And then Hopkins, you get the third string quarterback. And since you have Juju, I think the targets are almost close. So at that point, rather than have my targets from Mahomes and from Trace McSorley, I'm going to go Juju there. All right, let's see where you go. Steve's next. Morning you as well. PPR, Ayuk, Goodwin, Chark. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't like the weather in the Detroit-Carolina game. It's going to be very, very cold. I think Chark's going to get something up, but he's not going off here. I don't think he's on because Jared Goff's been 0 or 1 touchdown in every road game he's played through. He struggles on the road, and the cold is not good for Jared Goff. So Goodwin, I think, is your best player. I love Ayuk every week, but he's not getting the targets from Purdy. I think Washington's going to get some pressure on him. I think they're going to have to ride McCaffrey. They're actually covering better in Washington right now than they had been. And with Ayuk not getting enough targets, I think Goodwin's going to flirt with 10 targets here. So I'm going to go with Goodwin there for that reason. And he's played well this year, just on diminished targets because obviously Lockett and Metcalf get the lion's share. But with Lockett out now, that moves Goodwin into that role. I like Goodwin there. And then Moss, Palmer, or Chark. Moss could be a trap. If they fall behind, I think Deion Jackson's a passing down back. He's got a game with 10 targets. He's got some 4s. He's got a 3. I think he's their passing down back. And I think the Chargers have a great chance of playing with a lead here. And I also think that the Chargers with Nick Foles aren't going to respect the pass. So I think they might actually put some extra resources to stop the run to force them to pass. And that's not good for Zach Moss if that happens. So I am going to say, and then Palmer gets his 5 targets. He's going to get his 5 targets here. And because Indy's tough to run on and they're not going to want to run. So he's going to get 5 targets. So I think Palmer and Chark are really close. The cold weather for Chark, I think that caps his upside too much. And so I'm just going to go, I think Palmer is safer because that cold weather game could be really problematic for Chark. I like Palmer there. If you have a gut feel on Chark, go with him because I do like Chark this week. I just don't think he can have a big game because of the conditions and Goff being on the road. And then Kenny with Hurts out, Minshew. I'm going to say Minshew. Again, I talk about Goff on the road this year, 0 or 1 touchdown in every game he's played. And the cold is not something that he does well with. I think Minshew's in a great spot for a good start around floor. Should get you a couple touchdowns, get you 230. And if the game shoots out, he could do more. I like Minshew this week. Good deal. Scott, Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well, man. It's always good to see you. What the Bills could do today. So, look, they're from Buffalo, right? They play at home in Buffalo every December and January, and the playoffs they play there. And then when they don't, they play New England and they play the Jets. And those are teams they played in cold, brutal weather. That's kind of what they're conditioned for. So the wind is a little extreme. We're talking 22-mile-an-hour winds, but the wind chill, that's not anything surprise. I think they're going to come out and they're going to run the ball. Josh Allen's going to run the ball, Singletary, a little Zach Moss. I still think Stephon Diggs is going to be involved in the short passing game because the Bears are down Jalen Johnson, Kendall Vildor, and Eddie Jackson's been out forever, and they have nothing there. So I think they're going to be able to get the short passing game going to Diggs. I think Diggs does fine here. I don't know who else does outside of him. I don't like Gabe Davis at all this week because any chance he has on downfield, but I don't think that they're going to have to bother with that. So yeah, I think the Bills are going to be real run heavy. Josh Allen can run for over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground in this one. I could see that happen, but the Bears aren't going to offer any resistance. They're terrible. And even though the Bills have a terrible offensive line, if they start using RPOs, the Bears are screwed. So yeah, Iron Eddie. Ken Walker switch to Rachaad White. So Rachaad White is a cake matchup. We got to say that. He's splitting work with Fournette, but he's getting enough. He's getting 40%. Whereas Walker, here's the deal. If they fall way behind Kansas City, Travis Homer's are passing down back. So he could be phased out of it pretty quickly. And Walker, so I think Rachaad White has a better chance of being relevant for 4 quarters. And if Walker doesn't break the long run, and we don't know how he's going to do in the freezing cold weather either, maybe he'll be fine. But I would lean Rachaad White slightly here. He's going to get more targets than Walker too, probably, because we know that the Cardinals are going to blitz, and so you'll see Brady dumping some off. So, but if you have a gut feel on it, go with it. But my lean would be Rashad White there. And then Saloa, you got on Instagram, you got Hopkins or Pacheco. Hopkins, again, I think he gets some targets, but it's a third-string quarterback. Now Jamel Dean is out, which definitely helps him. But I think Pacheco's a really good play this week. Seattle can't stop the run. They're certainly not going to do their recent thing of stacking the box because of Patrick Mahomes. So Pacheco's going to have a lot of room to run. And I think with the cold weather, they may even give him more carries than usual here. I like Pacheco here, fairly comfortably, because I think that Hopkins is not a ceiling play this week. That would McSorley, and the Bucs are going to certainly make it a priority to deal with Hopkins. So yeah, I would think Pacheco there. King D Love, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Chark, Richie James, Brown, and Goodwin. So first of all, DPJ on the 25-mile-an-hour winds really worry me for him. Chark, the cold temperatures, I like it, but I don't think there's upside. Richie James, you're hoping for a floor game, and that's, ultimately the ceiling would require a touchdown and more than usual. I think Slayton's going to be open a lot, so they might have to go to him a lot. Marquise Brown is to get a third-string quarterback deal. I like Goodwin. Goodwin's going to probably get 10 targets this week, so he probably gets more targets than everybody in this group. Gino's been fine. Goodwin's been playing well. I don't think there's anything scary about the Kansas City matchup, and so I'm going to go with Marquise Goodwin there. And then Dotson, Shaheed, or Cooks. Shaheed I'm ruling out because of the 25-mile-an-hour winds. He's been getting 3 to 4 targets a game. They're mostly downfield. I don't think that's part of the game plan. Could they sneak one? Yes. I'm not going to bet on it. That wind is going to be extreme, and the cold's going to be extreme, and Shaheed's hands are going to be frozen. So, we don't know what his hands are going to be like in that scenario either. So I think Cooks is safer than Dotson because – Heineke's going to be under a lot of pressure from the 49ers. Now Dotson will get a few targets. I think Cook's coming back. He's going to have to get targets. Tennessee can't cover. They're not going to be really motivated. They get up for the great teams. They're not going to get up for this one. I like Cook, sir. King D Love, White or Zeke. Zeke is getting like 17 PPR points a week. It's been like 6-7 straight weeks. Can't sit him. He always plays well against Philly, it seems, too. So I'm going to go with Zeke there. I trust Zeke. Trust him. Okay. Happy holidays to you, too. Deion Jackson, Zach Moss, Pacheco, and Brandon Cooks pick 2 for the flex. Definitely like Pacheco here. And again, I think Moss could get game scripted out of this one. Jackson could get targets, but he's still splitting with Mox. So ultimately, Cooks is back. They're going to throw because you can't run on Tennessee. They don't have running backs anyway. And Davis Mills will throw him the ball, and the cornerbacks are awful. So I'm going to go with Pacheco and Cooks there. Iron Eddie, see what you got. Half PPR, Walker, Jackson, Sutton, or Jacoby Myers. You need one. So again, Jackson could see some PPR work late, but it's we're hoping on narrative there. Walker, not a terrible play, but he could get game scripted out. Travis Homer is the passing down back, and there's a great chance that we see a lead from the Chiefs. And then Cortland Sutton, that's just kind of ugly. Oh my gosh. They're playing the Rams, which is not a bad matchup right now. We are not going to have to worry about Jalen Ramsey shadowing him. So there is some potential here for Sutton. Actually, Sutton's not a bad play this week, the more I think about it. And the last one, Myers, I don't think he's 100% right now. We have a weather game now. The middle of the field could be good for him. That could be actually what's going to be open. So I think Jacoby Myers has the best floor of this group. I think Cortland Sutton has a little more ceiling than Myers. So either of them would be a good choice that I would go with. I would go with them over Walker and Jackson. Myers would be the safest. If I want to risk a little bit of lower floor for some more upside, I think Sutton could have that game because this could be a sneaky good game for him. And at least they're one of the teams playing in good weather. They're in LA. So there's that, right? We like that. And Iron Eddie, yes. Happy holidays and be safe to you as well. Thank you so much. And let's see what we got here. Somebody asked me a kicker question, Fishtail. You don't want to do that. Kicker analysis requires luck. I am the unluckiest person in the world. I'll give you good analysis every time. So what I'll tell you, the only thing I'll tell people with kickers is this. Whichever team is projected in the Vegas total to score more points, I sometimes just go with that because you'll have a higher floor. That's what I would say. Now, Joseph plays indoors. There's that. You like that on a day, but the Dallas weather isn't going to be anything of a problem. I have kickers that you really don't want me, your guy on that one, because like I said, I have no luck and I will pick the wrong one every time. Those are the benchmarks. I'm sorry, I wish I had a better answer, but I want to be honest with you. I am a terrible kicker guy. Most of my leagues don't even have kickers anymore. Such a relief to me. Laura and Jim Cooperman. Excellent. I'm glad you've been riding it along. Tough matchup this week. Yep. Running back, 2 receivers and a flex. Rashad White, Deontay Foreman, or Algier. Ayuk, Lazard, Chark, Osborne, or Gage. All right, so you need 4 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you need to sit 4 of them. All right, I am sitting Osborne. He's had 3 good games this year. Detroit, and then the 33-point comeback. Otherwise, I'll take that before last week, averaging 25 yards a game, 3 catches. He's the 4th option in the passing game. I don't think they need to go to a 4th option against the Giants because it's going to be Jefferson, Thielen, and Hawk. So I don't think I'm going to sit him. Now, because Gage is a game tomorrow, his usage really depends on whether Julio Jones is active, and we don't know if he will or won't be. So I'm just going to basically say, and I don't think they're going to need Gage here. I don't think they're going to need him. So against Arizona, I think they're going to be able to run. They're going to be able to get the ball to their alphas, both Godwin and Evans. I don't think they need Gage here. And so I'm going to rule him out. Third one I'll rule out. You know what? I am betting the under on Algier and prop bets this week because running against the Ravens is really difficult, and Ritter's not going to force the box to lighten it all. And I think Algier is going to be stuffed up quite a bit here, not have room to go. Don't like Algier. And then the fourth one I would set – Lazard is just not getting targets. I want to say it's like 7 or 8 in the last 3 games, and I know he can get, but Dobbs is back. I think the problem with Lazard is he blocks so darn well. They love using him in that capacity. So those are the ones I would sit. I would sit those lower and Jim Cooperman. Like Foreman, White has a good floor. Ayuk is iffy always, but again, he's a superstar. You kind of give him that shot there, right? And then Chark, I think, has a high enough floor. It's not a big ceiling game, but I think he has a high enough floor to be good there. All right, there's a couple of more instant questions here. King D Love, Chark, Davis, Myers, Goodwin. I like Goodwin. I think Goodwin's going to flirt with 10 targets today. I think they're going to trail. They're going to have to throw. I think he's been good playing well all year. Jacoby Myers is a decent floor play behind him. I think Chark's floor is lower than those guys. And Gabe Davis, with the wins, I don't think there's going to be any downfield element. And then Josh, you've got Komet, Juwan Johnson, or Dulcich. So Komet and Juwan Johnson both have the fate of weather. Both are playing in over 20-mile-an-hour winds in their games. And so I don't know how much passing is going to go on in those games. Whereas Dulcich, we know it's been really, really boom or bust, but he's playing in outdoors LA. And I just think that's enough of a boost. That game could see a couple more points than we might see. I love Juwan Johnson. Love him almost every, but I just trust him in 25-mile-an-hour. I think Taysom Hill's going to play a lot today too. So that's why I'm going to go with that route. If you had a gut feel, go with that one. Kyle, happy holidays to you as well. You need the ceiling. PPR, running back and a flex. Swift, Algier, Moss, Moore, or Goodwin. Definitely going Goodwin. I think he's going to flirt with 10 targets today. I think they're going to trail. I think he's been very, very good all year. The problem with Swift is now Justin Jackson's playing like 25% of the snaps. It's a full 3-man committee now. Algier, I'm betting the under on him. Zach Moss, I think he gets game scripted out. Chris Moore was going to lose a little bit of his appeal with Brandon Cooks back in the deal. So here's what I'm going to say. Goodwin. And then after that, for the ceiling, you need the ceiling. I'm going to go with Swift. He at least he could break a big play. The other guys, I have questions on all of them. So it's going to be Goodwin and it's going to be Swift. That's the way we're going to go with that one. All right. Shooksan. Happy holidays to you as well. Flex, PPR, Dobbins, Pittman, Judy, Goodwin. You need just one, huh? I don't know how you said Dobbins at this point. Atlanta's a decent run defense. They're middling, but the Ravens they use heavy personnel. They block it up well. Dobbins has been on fire. I guess good deal. Pittsburgh. He took out Pittsburgh. I just think at this point, I think Dobbins is playing such high level. That gives me a high run volume here. And again, if they put bodies in the box, I think Baltimore is equipped for that. They expect that, and they can play through it. And then that gives Dobbins extra chance at the second level. He's been explosive. All your options are good here. If you have a gut feel, go with it. But I'm going to go with Dobbins. He's on fire, and there's no reason to fade him here. It's going to be a big run script in this game. Jason, half PPR, Goodwin, London, Slayton, Moore, Cooks. You already start Saquon, so not sure about going. Well, Slayton is a good play, though, this week because Minnesota struggles with play action. They struggle at corner, and that's really tailor-made setup for Slayton. But I do like Marquise Goodwin a good deal here. So I think because you want to diversify here, I think maybe you go with Goodwin because he's in a very good spot this week. He should get flirt with 10 targets. Again, they're going to trail. London, we loved last week. He had 70 out of the 97 yards of the passing game, but but this week, sub-zero wind chill. There's going to be wind. Yeah, I just don't think that's going to be a London game. The temperature does not play into that. And I like Cooks too, but I think I like Marquise Goodwin better because they're going to have an easier time moving the ball, I would think. Joseph Moreno, Minshew or Jones? Yeah, I've gotten that exact question quite a bit. I'm going to go Gardner Minshew. I think that if the Vikings pressure gets home, Daniel Jones could have a problem. Minshew has a great floor in this game. He's got the weapons. Dallas is down 2 corners or down their middle linebacker. Dallas is hurting defensively, and they're not the team they were a while back, and they're equipped to handle a pass rush too. So I'm going to go Gardner Minshew there. And let's see, got Gabe Davis or Ayuk. I got to go with Ayuk. I'm gonna go give me the favorable weather situation. I just think Gabe Davis has not been a good play lately, and now they're talking 22-mile-an-hour winds and sub-zero wind chills. I don't like that profile. I like Diggs just fine for them. I don't like Gabe Davis. I can give me Ayuk there. Andrea, Mixon, Dobbins, White, McKinnon. And then, so at this point, it's almost impossible to sit McKinnon, right? I mean, now in his last 5, he has 2 weak games, but he's got 30-point upside. And in a game with weather concerns, the short passing game might be way more effective. I don't know how much Patrick Mahomes is going to, air it out. He may not. But your other options are so good too. Mixon doesn't have a great matchup this week. He's splitting too much work, and the Patriots are very good against the run, so I don't think it's necessarily a ceiling game for Mixon here. And Dobbins is a strong play. Like we mentioned it earlier, just he's been going off. Atlanta's good against the run. They're not great. They're not, a problem for them. Rashad White splitting work. So I'm going to go with Dobbins. I'm going to go with McKinnon there. If you have a gut feel on Mixon's volume could end up being better than McKinnon's. McKinnon is dependent upon the screen game. And if they don't use the screen game, that could be a problem. I didn't think they'd use it last week. I never thought they would be trailing Houston for a good portion of the game. I think that's something we didn't really factor in, and we couldn't factor in, right? So and then your receiver, Devontae Smith. I'm not worried about Gardner Minshew. And Devontae Smith's getting 8 to 9 targets a game. They're not changing their offense. They don't need to change the passing part of it. They don't, obviously, you're not going to designed runs for Gardner Minshew. But no, I think we're fine with that. I think we're going to go with Devontae Smith. The target floor has been there. DJ Moore is inconsistent, and Devontae Smith is an easy matchup. Jalen Johnson's out for the Bears. Kendall Lildore's out. Oh, man, Joseph, Christian Watson are mixing. So, it's the floor ceiling story, right? I love Watson's ceiling this week, though, because, like I said, Miami doesn't disguise their blitzes, so Rodgers will know what's coming, and their secondary's bad, and Green Bay holds up in pass coverage well enough. Mixon's got a high floor. New England's good against the run, so it's not like a great match, but he's splitting work. I'm going to say Christian Watson there, but if your gut says Mixon, trust it. Joe, thanks for listening on XM. I appreciate it. That means a lot. Love that show and love everybody that takes their time out to spend with us. It's great to be a part of people's fantasy football routine. It really is an honor, and I really appreciate it. So thank you. Vito, pick one. Algier, Singletary. I like Singletary this week. Look, they're going to have to run. There's going to be 22-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be sub-zero wind chill. Singletary does split work with Zach Moss, almost half the snaps now. But I think in this game, Singletary is going to flirt with 15 carries. I think against the Bears' crumbling defense, they can't stop the run. They can't stop the passing. There's a lot of RPO stuff this week built into the game plan. I like Algier. I'm betting the under at his heritage. That's nasty against Baltimore. Baltimore at home. Good luck with that one, right? And then Zach Moss, I think he gets game scripted out. I think they're going to fall behind the Chargers. And if they do, Deion Jackson, I think is the receiving back. That's my opinion. Jason, Browns or Bengals? They both have cold weather environments here. Browns are playing a 25-mile-an-hour wind, so I don't even know if New Orleans is going to waste their time throwing the ball. And that game, that might shorten the game so much. There may not be opportunities for sacks or INTs. So I'm going to say the Bengals D here, because if the Bengals get ahead and Mac Jones has to chase, that could set up for success. I would do that. Luca, we're going with Pollard there over Walker. Pollard has just been like money, and there's nothing scary for him getting to the outside against Philly. I think he gets to the outside and does his usual damage. Walker has too much volatility. And remember, Travis Homer's the passing down back. So if they do trail in that game, that's a problem. Got a question on Instagram, New York Jets fan. You've got Deontay or Latavius Murray. So last week, I told people to start Latavius Murray because the matchup was beautiful. Now, this week, they're playing the Rams. Now, Aaron Donald's out. A'Shaun Robinson's been on IR, so it's not a bad matchup. Deontay Johnson has such a stinking high floor. And because he catches short passes, I think the sub-zero wind chills and the 12-ish mile-an-hour winds, I don't think it impacts him. I think Johnson's floor is excellent. And if Murray doesn't score a touchdown, there isn't much going to be there. Overall, I think it's going to be a Deontay Johnson advantage here. Ricardo has Algier, Freeman, or Khalil Herbert. Oh, man. Herbert, it doesn't matter how much work he gets, right? Because he plays about 25, 30% of the snaps, but he'll get 10 to 12 carries on it, which is good. And the matchup against Buffalo was great. And he might even see more work because of the cold weather, right? Royce Freeman, like I said, we like the usage for sure last week, but Tennessee, you can't run on them. So I'm going to rule him out. Algier running against Baltimore on the road. I think that's running against a brick wall. I'm going to take Khalil Herbert. Frank the Tank, Connor, or Swift. Connor, I'm assuming you're meaning James Conner here, and I'm going to take him easily if that's the case. James Conner sees 95% of the work. Swift sees about 30% of the work, and just on the probability standpoint, I got to go. And Vita Vea is out for Tampa Bay, and that totally alters their run defense. Cousins or Brady? So the thing with Brady is that Arizona can't stop the run either, and they might be able to run the ball and pass the ball, and so they might score points, but it might not all come in the passing game. Ultimately, kind of the same thing for the Vikings, right? You could run on the Giants, you could pass on them, but Cousins in the dome. I think it's a good opportunity for them, and I just don't. I think they could score a lot of points to get it done on the ground and through there. But Dalvin Cook's had a lot of down games. Last week was nice, but he's had a lot of down games. So I think ultimately their passing game's going to carry him. Justin Jefferson will help him get it done, right? So I'm going to go Cousins there. Brady's had too much downside this year. And I know he's been better lately. I know he's had multiple TD games lately. I just think they can run a lot here. And I don't think they're the team that has to jumpstart their passing game. I don't think they're going to come in with that mindset. AV Motorcar, Cooper, Lazard, Dotson, Pickens, or Richie James. Yeah, that's a tough one because Cooper would be the slam dunk, but 25-mile-an-hour wins. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing in that game. Lazard blocks a ton. It's only been like 8 targets maybe in his last 3 games. It's been a real low number. He blocks as a receiver well. Dotson, it's a 49ers are going to put pressure on Heineke. His targets maybe 4 or 5, but Dotson's an elite player. Pickens, again, they're playing in freezing cold, and trust the quarterback at 15-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think with a negative wind chill on that, he's getting anything downhill. Richie James may have the best floor of this group because he's probably catching 4 passes for 35 or 40 yards, so he's your floor play. I think your boom bust play is Dotson, though, because he can win in the red zone. If they get down there, he can win downfield if they have to. And if the blitz doesn't get home or the pass rush doesn't get home for the 49ers, more of the pass rush, they don't really blitz a ton. So I think Richie James is your safe floor play. Dotson's your boom bust play. And I'm going to have to sit Cooper because 25-mile-an-hour wins. It's just too hard to think they may not pass. And King D-Love, Otten, or Komet. I'm going to go with Otten here because I'm worried about the 22-mile-an-hour winds in Chicago. And I think that Justin Fields is going to probably just run more than anything. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pass attempts here. And, Matt Milano may be on Komet, and that would be a bad matchup. So I'm going to go Cade Otton here, just out of default. Not that Otton's a great play, but because he's splitting work with – he's seeing less – I think he saw less targets than Cam Brate last week, but I got to go that route. All right, I guess here's what I'll say. Otton is safer, I think, has a floor. Komet would be able to score a touchdown to get in the red zone. So I would say Komet's your boom bust guy. Otten is probably the one I'd start. But Komet would be more likely to score a touchdown, I would think. All right, Dr. Roberto. Hurts owner here, Minshew or Danny Dimes. Yeah, that's been the exact question I've gotten so much this week. It's a great question. As I told others, Minshew's set up for success here. Great offensive line, great weapons. Devontae Smith is a number 2. In breakers from A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert's back. They can run and set up the pass. I think that Minshew has a great floor here. If the game shoots out, he has ceiling too. Whereas Daniel Jones, if that Minnesota pressure gets home, and they have the ability to bring a good pass rush, and that could really sabotage Daniel Jones. I think Minshew is way safer this week. So, and the stacking won't matter to me in my mindset. So, but I'm going Minshew there. New York Jets fan, Zach Moss or Kenneth Walker. I'm going to go Walker here. I do think that Zach Moss could get game scripted out. The Chargers are not going to respect Nick Foles. They might put an extra body in the box to force them into bad down and distance to make Foles throw the ball. And Derwin James is back. That's going to be ugly for the Colts too. I think Kenneth Walker's involved early at least. And I do think he can get traction early in the game. Now, if they fall way behind, he loses work to the passing down by Travis Homer. But I think I'm going to go with the better player, and I think they could have similar workloads here. So I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. Let me just see how I'm doing on questions. So, yeah, we're going good here. Oh, we'll be checking inactives in a minute here. Let me take one question. We'll check some inactives and see what we got going on here. All right, so we got SWA next. And I assume that's not Southwest Airlines. Be too cold to fly today. I'm in Chicago. Do I start Kamara or Kenneth Walker? To me, Kamara is an elite play this week. I think Taysom Hill is going to play a lot of quarterback. I think there's going to be a lot of run RPO. I think that the game of 25-mile-an-hour wind, sub-zero wind chills will be all about the run. And I think Kamara set up well. Remember, the Browns were terrible against the run. They're down 2-3 of their 3 linebackers. They're down Jadeveon Clowney. It's a smash spot for Kamara for me. Watson or Russ, Purdy, Minshew all day long. Go at Minshew. I can't trust Watson in that wind, and he hasn't been playing well to start. All right, let's check some inactives here, everyone. Let's see what we got here. Make sure I'm on. There we go there. All right, let's see what inactives we got here. All right. Bears, no surprises. St. Brown and Claypool out. We knew Chris Olave was out. Marshawn Lattimore's out, but with the win, don't know how much it is they're going to make anyway. We already know that the Bills are down edge rusher Boogie Basham, but again, in a game that's not going to be much passing. Damian Harris is not expected to play against the Bengals per the scores. Jordan Schultz, not sure who that is, but probably reliable on this one because I think Harris is trending toward not playing. And right now, that's all the inactives I have, so we will circle back to those shortly. All right, let's see what we got here. Leo, I am the worst kicker person in the world. Asked kickers require luck, and I have zero luck. I have analysis skills, but I have no luck skills. Carlson will be in freezing cold temperatures with some wind. I know Joseph plays indoor, so you might consider giving the edge to the indoor in a high potential scoring game. That might be the way I would tell you. But again, if it's a kicker, you do not want to trust me because I am terrible. Most of my leagues don't have kickers. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I don't have to make those decisions every week. I would have started hiring somebody out to make my kicker decision. I'd hire some luck guru to come in and say, all right, here's the coin flip. All right, itty bitty. What do you got? Taysom or Okonkwo? I am going Taysom easily this week. My expectation is he's going to be a read option quarterback in that 25-mile-an-hour winds. I don't think they're going to challenge. I think he's have a heavy role in this game. Cleveland can't stop the run. I think Taysom could run for 75+ yards. He could run for more. He could have a massive game here. Okonkwo, look, we're going to play Malik Willis. I don't trust Malik Willis. He did get Okonkwo for a long pass against Kansas City on that Sunday night game a couple months ago. I don't trust Willis. I don't think they're going to be able to throw the ball here. So I love Okonkwo, but not this week. Watson or Rachaad White? You know what? Rachaad White splits the work, right? Watson, his floor hasn't been terrible. He's getting 45 yards on floor games. So I'm going to go with Watson there. And I think it's a great spot for him, too, against Miami. I think it's a big game for him. Happy holidays, Jason. Chark Moore, Goodwin. I love Goodwin this week. He flirts with 10 targets. Kansas City probably playing with a lead here. And Goodwin's been good. And now he's going to get extra targets with Lockett out. Dustin, Taysom or Freiermuth. You heard me say a minute ago, it's going to be all about Taysom this week. I don't normally play him. I did a thread last week, and I was showing the downside. This week, not it. I believe he has to be a featured part of the game, and I believe he's very successful here. All right, Billy, what do you got? Need one from the Dregs. Okonkwo, Bellinger, Gus Edwards. Because this is one of those sub-zero wind chill games. They're going to run. I think Edwards gets more than what the 7 carries had. He was fine on the 7 carries last week, but I think this week they're going to have a lot of rushing attempts. So I'm going to go with Gus Edwards there. Chris, good morning. All right, you need 2 running backs in a flex. Rachaad White, Deontay Foreman, Gus Edwards, Deion Jackson, Treylon Burks, and Noah Fant. So, all right, for your running backs, Rachaad White is going to see enough work and that he's definitely factoring in here. I actually like Foreman's matchup this week. I didn't like it last week. We sat him, and good thing he had 9 yards. But this week, I'm not worried about him against Detroit. I think he can have success on the ground. And I think they're going to have to run the ball. So I like Foreman. White in PPR, I like more than Edwards because White's going to probably get – now, last week he didn't get targets, but he normally does. And Arizona likes to blitz. And if they do, then that means he's going to get some dump-offs there. Deion Jackson, it's too tricky. We don't know for sure. I expect to be the passing down back. I expect they're going to trail, but it's too much narrative. Burks, not with Malik Willis. Higher wins, double-digit wins, freezing cold. No. Fant isn't bad for a flexer. So I actually, you know what? I would probably use Gus as the flex, though. I would use Gus as the flex, but if you want to boom bust your flex a little bit, I could see Fant having a big game. I think Edwards is way safer, and I would take that floor and I would start him. If it's me, it's the 3 running backs: White, Freeman, Edwards, done. But if you want to get crazy in that game, I could see Fant doing something, but I would sit him. I would just play the 3 running backs. Bellinger or Freiermuth? Freiermuth got 0 targets last week and like 57% of the snaps. Not so good, right? Right. All right. So, but Bellinger doesn't get a lot of work either. And I think the receivers are going to get open against Minnesota. I don't think they're going to need Bellinger a ton here. I'm going to go with Freiermuth. Cold weather, they might have to throw it short. David on Instagram, Zach Moss or Dobbins. Dobbins easily for me. Easily. I think Dobbins has been on fire. He's no reason to be scared of the Atlanta match. They're good, but not in this. This will be a heavy run script here. And then Jackson, Moss or Dobson. Still going with Dobbins. I love Dobbins. And I know the 8.5 yards of carry the last 2 weeks is not sustainable. Still 5.8 in the season. But yeah, Dobbins is playing such a high level. You got to play him right now. Max, all right, what do you got? 12-team standard had a bye last week. You lost Taylor and Hurts. Yeah, that stinks. Fields, Williams, Mike Williams, Devontae Smith at receiver, Chubb, Gibson. So where's the question here? Any of those or London? So it looks like you're between Gibson, Mason, Foreman, Jackson, or Moss. I like Foreman this week. I didn't like him last week. Told people to bench him. I'm glad I did. Bet the under on his prop. 10 carries, 9 yards. I like his matchup this week. I don't think that Detroit's going to be able to do much of it. I think that's going to be a heavy run script in the cold weather. I like Foreman a good deal this week. Marianne, you've got Najee or Stevenson. Ooh, that's a good one. David, Merry Christmas to you. That's a very good one. So ultimately, Najee's matchup isn't great, but it's not terrible. And you've got a Vegas team coming into freezing cold Pittsburgh, and it's a night game, and Pittsburgh is going to be amped up, mourning the loss of their legend, Franco Harris. And, it's one of those things I just think they're going to run on adrenaline and emotion here. Stevenson, it's a bad matchup. I love Stevenson. Stevenson to get his, he gets his targets. He's a great player. But, man, DJ Reader's just eating it up from the interior defensive line for the Bengals. So, to me, I think Najee is the better play this week. Now, Stevenson always has upside. So he's boom bust. I think he could have a tough game, but could he break a long run? Yes. Najee isn't going to break long run. Najee's going to get you about 13 fantasy points. It'll be a solid game. Stevenson could be way low, or he can blow up because he's he's an elite player, right? So I'm going to take Najee if you want those safe bankable points. Your projection game is close, but if you're a big underdog, I'm going to go. If you're a big underdog, I'm going to go with Stevenson. But if you're not, I think Najee's your play. Ricardo on Instagram, Shaheed, Noah Brown, or KJ Osborne. That's a tough one. I think Shaheed, you can't start Shaheed. 25-mile-an-hour winds. He's a downfield guy. I don't think they're going to throw a lot. He gets 3 to 4 targets a game as it is, and that gets lowered. Osborne had 3 good games this year. Detroit, and then the 33-point comeback last week. 4th option in the passing game. I don't think they need him. I think they're going to be fine with Jefferson, Thielen, and Hawk. So I don't think they're going to need Osborne. But then Noah Brown, right? And if Noah Brown gets stuck on the outside corners, Slay and Bradbury, he's screwed. So ultimately, I've got to probably say he's not going to do much for you, but probably KJ Osborne. That's probably what I'm going to say here. And then King D Love on Instagram, you got Curtis Samuel, Goodwin, or Marshall. Goodwin easily. I think Goodwin's a great play this week. I expect 8 to 10 targets. Trailing, I think he's been fine this year. He has the uptick and work with Lock It Out. Samuel, I'm betting under 29.5 yards on DraftKings on him. Middle of the field is not where you want to go. Marshall, cold weather game, not so much. Killer Cots, London or Pickens, they both are in horrible weather games. London, they both have quarterback issues. Pickens' problem is 15-mile-an-hour winds, and Pickett can't throw it downfield anyway. So I think that wind beats the threshold. I'm just going to go on London, hoping he gets some volume. That's what we'll go for there. All right, Mike, Zeke or McKinnon? Wow. So I guess we got to look at it this way. McKinnon's got 2 30-point games in a row, but he also has 2 games with like less than 6 points in the last 5 or 6. Zeke has been like 17, 18 points a game for like 6 weeks. Fantasy semis, I don't know if I said that. Now, if you're a massive underdog in your game and you need the 30-point game on McKinnon, then you take the boom bust chance. Zeke has been money. I mean, just legit money. And he always seems to play well against Philly. And so I'm going to go with Zeke. But if you need 30 points, Zeke ain't getting you 30. McKinnon, we know he's done it 2 weeks in a row, so he's got that chance. But I can see McKinnon getting a 6 as well because that's his game. He's a 6 or a 30 lately, right? It's been like a couple games in the middle, but that's what you're looking at. I take the safe points if it's me, unless you're a massive underdog. AV Motorcar, Rashad White or Dillon. I don't like Dillon's matchup this week. Miami is pretty lights out against the run. I think Miami's going to get out to a lead. They're going to force Packers to throw more than they want. Rashad White, it's a great matchup against Arizona, even though he's splitting work. Max, I want to say I answered this already. Yeah, I think you asked it twice. Let's see, Slate. No, you added a name to it. Burks doesn't change the equation. I think this might be a little bit different. It looks same, but it's different. Let's see. All right. Chubb, Foreman. So what are we looking at here? You need any of those or London. Smith and Williams are fine. Chubb's great. Foreman's great. And then of the rest, do you mean Slayton? If you mean Slayton instead of Slay, I love Slayton this week. Love him this week. Minnesota struggles against play action. They struggle downfield with corners. Love Slayton. Khalil Herbert's a decent play because I think there's going to be a high-volume run game, and he's going to get 10 to 12 carries, and I think he'd be a good share. Slay would be my play. That'd be it if I answered that right. Mike, Mostert, Walker, or Swift. So apparently Jeff Wilson practiced. Don't know. I have no idea what his role is going to be right now. I started out. He's way better than Mostert at this point. But Mostert had the great game last week. They can't overuse him. But the Green Bay's a great matchup. Walker, I'm worried they get game scripted out. Travis Homer's the passing down back, and if they trail Kansas City, he can get game scripted out. Swift. Now the problem is we're having Justin Jackson playing almost 30% of the snaps, so he's screwed over. Everybody's a 3-man backfield. I'm going to say Mostert on floor. Mostert is the best floor of the group. That's it. That's what we got to go with. I think your boom bust play is Swift because, again, he has that ability to break big plays at any time. But otherwise, Mostert, your safe floor play. And happy holidays to you too, Max. All right, instant question. Let's see what we got here. ECU Dubs, more than you too. Happy holidays. Slayton, Pittman, or Goodwin. Oh, man. I like Goodwin. I like Slayton. Pittman worries me because of Foles. But he's going to get volume. They're all going to get volume. Ultimately, I think Goodwin has the best floor of this group because I think he's flirting with 10 targets here, and he's been good all year. Slayton, I could see him getting big plays because Minnesota struggles to play. Actually, they struggle downfield. But ultimately, he's got Daniel Jones. If the pass rush gets home for Minnesota, that could be problematic. I like Goodwin. I like Goodwin here. If you have a gut feeling, go with it. It's really a tough question. And then it looks like we have that could be Josie. There you go. Marquise Goodwin or Pittman. Again, I love Pittman as a player, but I just don't know that they're getting it done here. So I'm gonna stick with Goodwin. I think Goodwin's a great play. And EC Dub, sorry, your request would be in the video. I can't. I got so many platforms going. Love you for asking. Thanks, man. Jeff, Gino or Minshew? Oh, that's a good one. They both have good floors here. And, Gino has the worst weather situation. So that might be my default. I don't know how Gino is going to play in sub-zero wind chill. The wind's not going to be anything catastrophic. It's not going to be catastrophic, though. So they'll be able to move the ball. And I like Goodwin. I said that already. But I think Minshew is so set up for success. It's going to be 32, not bad, for 3-mile-an-hour winds. He has the better weapons. I think that game's more likely to shoot out. It's a coin flip, okay? It's a coin flip. I personally like Minshew, but Gino's been playing great all year, right? And so if you just want to go with that safety of Gino, knowing he's the only teams he hasn't gotten done against are really the 49ers. 49ers shut him down twice, but that's the 49ers. Chiefs aren't that. So, if you've been riding Gino all season, don't get cute. I don't see this as a down spot for him. And I don't see you play in Arrowhead. Sometimes teams go to die in Arrowhead, but that was years ago. I don't think that's been the same lately. Let me tell you exactly where I have them ranked. If I can find my tab that I have open with my ranks, I'll tell you exactly where I have them ranked at quarterback. I got Gino ahead of them. Yeah, I got Gino a couple spots out. So I'm going to recommend Gino. I got Gino a couple spots ahead of him. All right. Happy holiday to you too, Tom. Appreciate that. And then, Mike, I think we answered that one for you already. We did. We answered that for you already. Leo, nervous about Hopkins and your flex. I get it. But over Rashad White's a tough one. He's splitting work with Fournette. It's a great matchup. I still think Jamel Dean's out. I think that helps Hopkins. Vita Vea's out. That's not, that people think of him run only, but he's part of their interior pass rush. McSorley's going to throw the ball to Hopkins 7 to 10 times. He's Hopkins. I think it's enough to get done, but I don't think he has any ceiling. So I think Hopkins is your floor play. He's going to get a decent floor. But I think if you need 18, 20 points, White potentially could have that upside because Arizona's so bad against the run. But I think White is a lower floor. Safe play is Hopkins. White is kind of your boom bust option there. Caught up on Instagram. All right. Craft Keepers, more on you as well. Not sure whether it's Njoku or Johnson. Yeah, and that's both of them, right? Both of them at the weather game. That's the problem. 25-mile-an-hour winds. I think Njoku of the two is more likely to catch screen passes. And the options on your waivers, Higbee, I know last week he did okay, but man, I don't know if they're going to need him this week. Tunyon, that's the problem, right? And Otten is, I think Brait saw more targets than Otten last week. So you know what? I think Njoku is the most likely to catch screen passes. So I think that could give you the edge here. If you have a gut feel, because really with this weather, it really is that. Killer Cost, you didn't hear me regarding London or Pickens. I'm going to go with London because ultimately Pickett can't throw to him to start, and now it's 15-mile-an-hour winds and sub-zero wind chills, and his hands are going to be frozen. Look, Ritter's terrible too, and the weather's not good, but London is more likely to get more targets than Pickens. So that's what I'm going to say here. Tom, you've got Khalil Herbert, Moss, or Gibson. Gibson's matchup stuff. 49ers, if you catch the ball, you don't get anywhere with it, so it's not even like that. I think Herbert's your play. I think there's going to be a lot of running. I think he's still going to get his 30% snaps, but it's be like 12 carries. But against Buffalo, he can make something out of that. He's a good player. And Moss, I think he gets game scripted out very easily if they fall behind for Deion Jackson, so I'm nervous about that. And I think that the Chargers might put an extra body in the box and make Foles throw if they want him to throw. And Gibson, the matchup is just nightmarish. So I'm going to go with Herbert there. Dustin, you got Pacheco or Higgins? Oh, man. Pacheco has a good floor, but you know what? It's a tough call. It's a tough call. Ultimately, if I'm planning up this game, I thought these all through. Cincinnati, they know the small, quick little corners of New England. They can't hang with Higgins. He's too physical. Can't hang with Chase. I think the game plan is just get them the ball. And I know the weather's not, but they're going to get them underneath. They're going to let them operate after the catch. To me, Pacheco's a great play, but Higgins could break, he could break your lineup, man. He could score you 30 points. I don't think Pacheco could do that. I think Higgins' floor is high enough, but Pacheco has a higher floor. Pacheco does have a higher floor because we see Higgins get those 2 for 29s. We do see that. And we can't count on Zach Taylor doing it. So Pacheco has a 14. Yeah, I think I'll say 14. He has a 12-point floor for you this week. 12.4. He's going to run for about 100 yards this week. Decent chance to score. But Higgins has more upside. So look at your matchup. If you need to save points, you want to bank them, it's Pacheco. If you need some upside, then you got to go with Higgins. All right, let's see. Joe Stanley on Instagram, Dobbins or Pacheco? Pacheco has a better matchup. Ultimately, Atlanta's better against the run. It's cold. Dobbins is going to get his work. Pacheco has a better matchup. They probably get similar amount of carries. I'm going to go Pacheco for that reason. Oh, by the way, everybody, if you're on Twitter at all, please follow me at Jim Coventry NFL. I would appreciate that greatly. I do threads every week where I give you action advice and trends on running backs, receivers, sometimes tight ends. I give you prop bets, ideas. I help you out as much as I can. I do videos on RotoWire YouTube 5 days a week. If you're on YouTube right now, you're seeing that. Also, please give us a follow if you're on YouTube. And over at RotoWire, we get you a couple free days behind the paywall. Go to right on the bottom of the screen if you're on YouTube. Twitter, and Facebook, rotowire.com/try. No credit card needed. We can see all we got to offer. I'm writing an article tonight. Reactions every Sunday I do. All right, let's get back at it. Let's check injuries. Let's see if we have any updates here. Stevenson, active. Brandon Cooks, active. Nothing weird in the Giants game. Nothing weird in the Chiefs game. Treylon Burks is active, but Malik Willis, a quarterback, freezing temperatures, not so excited. Damian Harris officially inactive. Cam Dantzler is inactive for the Vikings. That's an even bigger bump to Darius Slayton. DJ Dallas active for the Seahawks, third string, special teams. The Texans-Titans game will be postponed for an hour, according to KPRC2's Aaron Wilson. Nashville Mayor's asked the Titans to postpone the game in solidarity with rolling blackouts happening around the city. These are readings from NBC Sports Edge. It's a complex issue because Nissan Stadium is actually owned by the city government. This will not change much about the game from a fan perspective, but don't be shocked when you don't see stats accumulating early again. Thank you, NBC Sports Edge. Appreciate that. Falcons, nothing crazy on the inactive front there. Noah Fant is expected as active. Nothing on Panthers' end. Tyler Huntley is expected for the Ravens. Marquise Goodwin is expected active. Should be fine. Love him for fantasy this week. Browns, we knew without Jadeveon Clowney. Already without two linebackers. We knew Hayden Hurst and Sam Hubbard were out for the Bengals. I think we're caught up. All right. Let's see what we got here. Instagram question. Steve center scoring. You need one. Gabe Davis, Pickens, or Tyler Algier. Oh, man. Pickens because of the 15-mile-an-hour winds in his quarterback. Can't throw anyway. That's a problem. Algier, I'm betting the under on his yards, although he should get you 35 yards in this game. Gabe Davis, he probably goes 3 for 30 in this one. They're not going to throw downfield in 22-mile-an-hour winds, but he'll get a little something for you. He could score in a red zone. So, yeah, you're in a rough spot. You know that already. I'm going to go with Davis just because I think he has a little bit of a floor. I think Algier's in a bad spot this week. They're doing great last week. And then Ricardo Hernandez, you got Goddard and Njoku. Njoku's playing at 25-mile-an-hour winds, and so I'm going to go Goddard here. I'm definitely going Goddard. I don't expect the snaps to be diminished. People are questioning it. He wanted to come back last week. They gave him an extra week. I got to say he's ready to go. I mean, I'd be stunned if he wasn't. We don't know for sure, but I'd go that route. All right, Mike. You've got Ezekiel Elliott or Jerick McKinnon. Yeah, we had that one earlier. Elliott is so safe. He's going to get you like 18 points a week. It's been like 6-7 weeks straight. So you got to bank that, right? McKinnon, he's had 230s. He had 2 games at less than 6 PPR points. He's all over the board. You want that safe, bankable, high floor. It's Elliott. If you need 30 points out of your running back and you're willing to take a 4, then that's where McKinnon falls. So you'd go that route. Kevin, happy holidays to you too. Brian, Merry Christmas to you. Boyd or Sutton? You know, Boyd, it's mostly bust. He had a couple boom games this year, but ultimately, I don't know they need him to attack New England. I think they're going to attack him with their alphas because the small corners don't match up. I do like Sutton this week. Jalen Ramsey isn't one to travel on the outside. It's not what he's been doing these days. And it might even be Judy anyway if he's looking for somebody. Sutton hasn't done much. I'm going to lean Sutton there. I think Sutton has a higher floor than Boyd, and that's why I'd go on here. And then, Mike, I answered that for you already. You guys just ask the questions once. I promise I'll get to you. I get to everybody's questions. It's just a matter of time. I can scroll through them all, right? Thor Bear Things, you are welcome. Happy holidays to you as well. Jason, Mixon or Latavius? I got to go Mixon here. Latavius, I liked him last week because the matchup was super soft. This week, I know Aaron Donald's out, but the Rams still are like a cake matchup. And then Latavius Murray needs a cake matchup to get rolling here. I'm going to go with Mixon because Mixon will be involved in the passing game more, I think. So we'll go with that. Ricardo, Merry Christmas to you as well. You're very welcome. That's on Instagram. Trey, morning, happy holidays to you too. Rashad White, Singletary, or Judy. Could also grab Taysom. Oh, man, you know what? If that's just one of them, though, man, it's speculative. I love Taysom this week. It's 25-mile-an-hour winds, a sub-zero. I think he's going to be like 70% of the time playing quarterback. I think it's going to be read option. Cleveland can't stop. Their 2 of their 3 linebackers are out. They're without Clowney. They couldn't stop the run to start. They got nobody. I mean, Hill could run for 100 yards without a problem in this game. I like Singletary too. I know he's lost half of his snaps, he played about half of the time, but it's a great matchup against the Bears. Rashad White has that PPR upside, but he's splitting, and we don't really know how it's going to shake out. Judy, if you can get Taysom instead of Dulcich, Taysom instead of Dulcich, do that right away. Like run to your waiver wire and click that one. And of the other ones, I'm gonna say Singletary has the best floor of that group because the Bears can't stop anybody. Their middle linebacker Jack Sanborn's not that he was good, but they have like nobody, and they can't stop the run. So that's what we're gonna look at there. Michael, Eckler, Barkley, Montgomery, or Harris. Oh, wow, man. That's rough. That's a lot of good choices there. Because it's standard. Eckler doesn't have a great matchup in a standard one. He does not have a great matchup. Indy's good against the run. And Barkley just not getting it done regular. Last week he did okay last week. And Minnesota's lights out against the run. Montgomery has a really good matchup against Buffalo. He could lose a couple touches to Herbert, but they were already given back up the same amount of work that he had. And then we had Najee. Najee's more narrative because the Franco Harris and the team like really playing up. Look, at this point though, I'm gonna go Eckler and Montgomery because Eckler can score touchdowns pretty reasonably well, and even if he catches the ball, even though it's standard, he still gets that yardage. And I just think Minnesota shuts Barkley down. I think they're gonna sell out to stop him. So I'm gonna go with Eckler. But if you have a gut feel on Barkley, go with it. But I'm not gonna recommend that one. Brooks, Taysom or Pacheco? Oh man. Pacheco's safer. I had a great idea for Hill today, but Pacheco is an easy defense. They're not stacking a box with Patrick Mahomes. So we're looking at Pacheco at 100 yards, and we're looking at a good chance to score. Taysom could have a monster game. So here's what you want to do. Pacheco's safe. He has a great floor. You start him with confidence. But if you need 25 points out of him, Hill has that in his range of outcomes today. Not saying he's getting more 25 points, but it's clearly in his range of outcomes today in that game. So if you need the boom bust, then that's what you do. Otherwise, take the safe points of Pacheco. And Mike, you asked that, I think, 3 or 4 times. Ty, Merry Christmas to you as well. Walker, Pacheco, or Cook? I like Pacheco. Walker could get game scripted out if Kansas City gets out to a big lead. He could get off to a good start. Cook, the usage has been like 14, 5, and 7. The touches are just, we don't know. We just don't know. But we know Pacheco's getting work. And we know it's a soft matchup. So sit 1. Sit 2 out of sit 1. So I'm going to rank them. I'm going to go Pacheco, Walker, Cook. That's the order of those 3. Because Cook, I just don't know what are we hitting work-wise. And because Walker has better upside than Cook too if he gets going and the game stays close, which he could. All right, sit 2 receivers: Brown, London, Chark, and the running back. He suggested you set for flex. I would probably put Chark, even though he's not a great ceiling. I'd put Chark. Then Marquise Brown because of the weather and he plays the slot a bit. And then London, I get it, 7 catches, 70 yards last week. I have 90 for Ritter, 97 for Ritter, but it's really going to be cold today and windy. That's a tough one for him. So, and I don't think I'd play James Cook over him. So it'd be like Chark, Marquise Brown, and then Cook could be after that. That'd be it. Jeff, PPR, I felt like I can. Maybe somebody else asked that one earlier. I said earlier, Geno's been riding all year. If you've been riding him, keep riding him. No reason to sit him. I see no reason he's have a down game here. Minshew has a great floor, but I got Geno ranked higher. I'm going to go with Geno there. I just think they're both good plays. Geno seems safer. Remember, the 49ers shut him down twice, Geno, but that's the 49ers, and this isn't the 49ers. The Joker, full PPR, Marquise Goodwin, Josh Palmer, Cortland Sutton. Palmer's going to get his 5 targets. I think Sutton could see quite a bit of work here coming back. And Marquise Goodwin, I love him this week. I think he's flirts with 10 targets here. I like both of them. I think Sutton has at least the floor of Palmer, but I think in this week against the Rams, I think he might have more upside. We're not going to see Jalen Ramsey shadowing him. That ain't going to happen. Ramsey probably more in the slot more, and they'll be on the outside. They're not going to say, like, we got to take out Cortland Sutton. I don't think that's a problem. Randy, you're on Instagram. Good. Rams, Chiefs, or Steelers defense. Raiders are going out to a cold venue at night on Christmas. They probably don't want to be there, eliminated from the playoff contention. I'd probably go with the Steelers there. That's probably the way I would go with that. And they're playing that game for Franco Harris, I think, so that's a big one. Max, let's see here. All right, you got a little different one here from before. Let's see what you got here. You you already told me you lost those guys. I remember seeing those names. I think you just added names to this one. Darius Slayton. I like Darius Slayton a good deal. And Cameron Dantzler's out. Max, you're very welcome. Happy holidays. Dubs didn't running enough targets yet. And I think we're going to keep that route. So, yeah, you're going to go with take a look back here, guys. It's a lot of names. Just try to give me the quick question here. I would rank them Foreman, Herbert, Deion Jackson, and those running backs. That's how I would list those. and I would put Slayton after. It'd be Foreman, Slayton, Herbert, and then Deion Jackson. I don't like Gibson this week because of the 49ers matchup. Joe, Walker, or Pacheco, Herbert or Fields? I have Fields ranked ahead of Herbert because I think against Buffalo he's going to run a ton. And he's going to have to, and he will, and he's done it. And you can't stop him. He's fast, right? And Buffalo can't stop the run. And could Buffalo sell out to stop him? And could they do anything? Maybe. Herbert, it's not a great matchup. He hasn't been throwing touchdown passes. There's that. I'm going to say Fields. Herbert hasn't been throwing touchdowns. He's had good matchups, too. I'm going to go Fields. And then I'm going to go Pacheco over Walker. I just think he's safer. It's a great matchup for him, too. And then Brian Pope, Watson, Walker, Williams, or Swift. Yeah, it's not. Watson's tough this week because it's 25-mile-an-hour winds. That's going to be a hard week to throw the ball. But I don't think your other plays are compelling enough. If they trail, Travis Homer's the receiving back. So he can get game scripted out. I think Watson's going to run for a bit today. Watson could run for 55 yards in this game. I could totally see that. I'm going to go with Watson. I don't trust Walker to play the whole game. I don't trust him yet. And even before last week's game when he played and he did okay, Pete Carroll was like on the interview and he said, I hope he can make it through the game. And then he missed practice time this week. There's something up with his ankle. Trey, start 3. Saquon, Ramondre, James, Conner, and McKinnon. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So you got to sit 1. Ramondre has a bad matchup. Saquon has a bad matchup. Conner has a better matchup because Vita Vea's out and his usage is through the roof. McKinnon is boom or bust. He has 2 games with less than 6 points and then 2 in a row with 30 more. So, I mean, there's that. So, I think your best floor plays, you're keeping Conner no matter what. Saquon and Ramondre have the better floor than McKinnon. McKinnon has a way higher ceiling than Saquon. So if you want to go with the ceiling play, you're going to go with – because McKinnon can have a low game. If they don't throw him the ball, that's his whole game. So boom bust is McKinnon. If you want a safe 12 points, that's Barkley. 5 or 25, that's going to be McKinnon. You got to pick between those. It depends what you need in your matchup. The safe points always are what you want. But sometimes you're like an underdog and you need the boom. That'd be McKinnon. Michael, Pacheco or Dobbins? Oh, man, they both are in great spots here. You know, that's a real coin toss there. Dobbins, the matchup isn't great, but it's not overwhelming. And Pacheco has a great matchup, and he should get you in the area of 15 carries here. Dobbins is on fire. I am going to recommend Dobbins here because he's playing at such a high level, and they are so committed to the run. But if you have a gut feel, I'm going to go with Dobbins there. That's a tough one. I'm going to close out Instagram here. Randy, Dobbs or Chris Moore? You know what? Dobbs played limited snaps coming back, but they were working him back. So I think he's a full go. I think they're going to need him in a shootout. Chris Moore is going to lose targets because Brandon Cooks is back, and that's what we're going to go with. Those on Instagram, if you want to come over and catch the rest of this show, last maybe 10 minutes over on RotoWire YouTube, catch me there. Remember, give me a follow at Jim Coventry NFL. I'd appreciate it. Good luck this week. Instagram, we are closing you out right now. All right, and now we are back to everybody else. Let's see what we got here. Let's see how much we got question-wise. All right, I got to go fairly quickly through these. We got to get these done in the next 10 minutes. Got to eat lunch before these games. All right. Slayton or Palmer? I'm going Slayton. Love the matchup. Cam Dantzler's out. Andrew, Najee, Judy, Christian Watson. Wow. Najee has the best floor. I really think they're going to use him this week because of the Franco Harris deal, that they're going to be ramped up. They're going to run. I think Christian Watson's your best play, though. I think he has a reasonable floor. He has a great ceiling. Najee's a higher floor than Watson. So if you want a safe, 12-point game, that's going to be him. If you can go with between a 6 and a 23, that's going to be Watson. I'm going to keep Judy out of this one. All right, let's see what we got here. Darnell, Standard, Elliott, Pollard, and McKinnon. Oh, man. Need 2. So, look, Elliott's been gold with 15 to 18 points a week. Pollard, a little more boom bust. McKinnon, you heard me say it a minute ago. He has 2 games like less than 7, and last 2 are 30 points. So he is just going to be volatile. If he doesn't get the screens, then it's not going to be there. But if it is, he could blow up. So I would be the safest plays are going to be Elliott and Pollard. But if you're going to sit one, I would keep the safety of Elliott, and I would put McKinnon in, who has a higher ceiling than Pollard in this one. And then I would go with Juju as your receiver. Gabe Davis and Donovan Peoples-Jones are in horrible wind games. Juju is a little more palatable, but he runs underneath stuff. I would go with him. Goff or Watson? Oh, man, Patrick, that's not an easy one. Goff's terrible on the road. He's been all year 0 or 1 touchdown every game, but Watson has 25-mile-an-hour wins, and I think it's going to be a run game. I'm going to go Goff there. Thorbear, you've got flex, Davis or Pickens or Algier. Now, on this one, I'm going with Davis. I think Algier is a horrible matchup. I'm betting the under on his rushing prop. Pickens, the quarterback can't get him the ball, and his 15-mile-an-hour winds and his freezing temperatures. Davis should at least get some targets underneath to get you something for a floor. AVM Motorcard, all I can tell you about that one, because I have so many questions wherever that fell. Goodwin, I'm expecting him to get you in the area of 15 PPR points, so you can add him and play him over a player that might be a little worse spot than that. Brian Pope, 1 PPR. Davis, Goodwin, Burks. I like Goodwin this week. I like Goodwin. I think he has a good floor. I think he has a moderate ceiling. The other players, I'll have Davis has weather concerns. Burks has quarterback and weather. Sutton has Russell Wilson concerns. I like Sutton this week, but I like Goodwin better. They're chasing points. Sutton could not be maybe out of the same game script. Cooper, Dubs, or Sutton in the flex. Now, Cooper, those 25-mile-an-hour wins. I'm very worried about him not getting targets. Dubs, they eased them back last week, but I don't know if he gets a full snap share yet. In this one, I'm going with Sutton in this one. I think Sutton has the best floor of this group. AV, I can't say Zeke. He's got like 15, 18 fantasy points in like 6 or 8 straight games. He's just money, and he always plays well against Philly. Rashid Shaheed or Mac Hollins. Both have weather concerns, but Shaheed's playing at 25-mile-an-hour winds, and he only gets 3 to 4 targets a game. And if they're downfield and that weather's blowing like that, I can't recommend him. I got to go with Hollins for that reason. Andrea, you're welcome. Happy holidays to you. Delroy, Marshall, Goodwin, or Samuel. I'm all about Goodwin this week. I'm going to go with Goodwin. I'm going to stick with him. Samuel, I'm betting the under on his 29.5 receiving yard prop. Run in the middle against the 49ers, not good. Marshall, bad weather. John, Merry Christmas. Pick one. Pittman, Dillon, Deion Jackson, DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker. Even with Nick Foles, Pittman should get his 7 to 10 targets. I'm going to go with Pittman there for that reason. Dillon, don't like the matchup. Deion Jackson's be game script dependent. DJ Moore, the weather's going to be bad. I don't know if the quarterback's going to overcome that. And Walker could get game scripted out. I think Walker's floor is with Pittman's, but he could disappear. Walker could disappear. Omari, you've got half PPR. Rashad White or Jahan Dotson. I'm going to go with Rashad White. He's safer. I like Jahan Dotson. He's a phenomenal player, but I don't know how many pass attempts are going to be against the 49ers. Okay, and you told me whoever so you're good there. Hopkins or McLaurin. Now, here I got to go with McLaurin. Hopkins is getting targets from a third-string quarterback. I think the Bucs will place some attention to him. McLaurin, look, it's not a great matchup, but the 49ers corners are beatable, and we know that Heineke is going to throw him the ball, so I'm going to go with that. Joanne, you've got White, Swift, or Pacheco. I think Pacheco's the safest of them. He's going to probably get 12 to 15 carries. He should go over 100 yards on the ground. He has a decent chance of scoring. Seattle can't stack the box because of Patrick Mahomes, so I think that's going to work out well. I like White, but I think Pacheco has a much higher floor. And Swift, man, Justin Jackson's getting almost 25-30% of the snaps, and this is a 3-man backfield. Bob, all right, Merry Christmas to you too. Henry, full PPR. Let's see what you got here. 2, 2, and 1. Chase, Higgins, Pittman, St. Brown, Dobbins, Stevenson, Swift, and McKinnon. So you need 5. Chase in, Higgins in. Those corners in New England, I don't think can stand up to them. St. Brown, the middle of the field should be fine despite the cold weather. That should be the one who eats there. So Stevenson is your floor play. So I'm going to use him. The 4th one's going to be Stevenson. The 5th one's going to be this. If you want that boom bust, it's going to be McKinnon, because McKinnon 30 points 2 weeks in a row, but then he has 2 games under 7. Dobbins is a little steadier, higher floor, but he doesn't have nearly the ceiling. So if you want to jump for that week-winning upside, you're going to go with McKinnon. If you want to safe like 12, 14 points, then I think you're going to go with Dobbins in that case. But McKinnon, that upside is just unreal. Refine the S. Chark, Algier, or Foreman. I'm going to go Foreman there. I think Foreman's in. Last week, I told people not to play him. This week, I do like the matchup. I think he's going to get carries. I think he's going to be just fine here. Billy, you're welcome. Lucius. Can't decide Minshew, Dak, or Minshew. Oh, man, it's a tough one. I'll tell you where I have him ranked. I got him real close. Let me see exactly where I have him here. I have Dak at 9, and then who is your other one? Or Minshew? Yeah, I got Dak ahead of him. I got Minshew at 13. I got Minshew very well graded. I like him a lot. But Dak's, because they're probably going to trail. They're going to trail at some point, and I think they're going to be able to throw. And I think it's going to be the middle guys. It's going to be Schultz and CD who get it done because the outside corners, you don't want to mess with them. Philly or Cincy defense? Cincy, because if Cincy gets a lead in this game and Mac Jones has to chase, then I'm going to go with that. Jeffrey, Hollins, Palmer, or Sutton. I like Sutton this week. Palmer gets his 5 to 6 target. Hollins, the weather conditions will not be good in Pittsburgh at all. Sutton, I do think they're not going to put Jalen Ramsey and say you're taking him. They don't need to shut him down. So I think Sutton's going to be fine this week. Lucius is a tough one. I had this question on the XM show this morning. It's hard to sit Waller. Waller played last week, played a part of the snaps. The weather's not going to be good there. But he's Waller, right? Darren Waller's an elite player, so it's hard to sit him. My narrative, this is why. My narrative on Taysom Hill is he's going to be a run-pass option quarterback today, playing like 70% of the snaps, and he has a great chance to go off. But if they don't do that, then there might be nothing. So Waller's your safest play. Waller's safe, got a good floor, moderate ceiling. If you got to swing for defense in your game, Taysom's it, because I could see Taysom scoring 25 fantasy points. I could see him scoring 4, but I can see him scoring 25. I can't see Waller scoring 25. I see Waller maybe hitting 15. If it works out, he gets a touchdown. So that's the way I want to frame that with you. Scott, I think that because of Lockett being out, I think that Kansas City's going to put their focus on DK Metcalf. I think it's an easier matchup for Goodwin. And I don't know how much that means, but I think they're going to put a heavy focus on Metcalf. I don't have him as 5 to 8. I'll tell you where I have him. Actually, let me scroll down and check my rankings. But I definitely don't have him that high. Close. I am at 9, right outside of 5. I am at 9. So he's a good play. He's a good play this week. I think he gets you 90 yards and a touchdown. I think he gets you 90 yards and a touchdown. Good question, Scott. Jamie, touchdown heavy league. Dobbins over McKinnon. I think the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points. I bet them over 29.5, whereas I think that Ravens game, that could be a real low-scoring game. That could be a slog fest. I think because of the amount of touchdowns that are going to be scored in Kansas City, your probability lies with McKinnon. Because if the Ravens only score 1 touchdown, might be Dobbins, might be Edwards, might be Andrews. If the Chiefs score 5 touchdowns, McKinnon has a better chance of getting one of those. I'd go with McKinnon for that reason. Phantom, Heineke, Foles, or Willis. Oh, man. I'm going to go with Heineke. He's going to throw up some prayers. They get answered sometimes. Foles, he's under pressure. He's screwed, and I think that they're going to pressure him. I think Brandon Staley's been bringing the pressure. Foles can't handle it. Willis, don't trust him at all. Don't trust him. I don't think he can throw. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. Maybe I'm wrong, but he hasn't looked like it yet. I'm going to go with Heineke. Finstorm, Kamara, or Kenneth Walker. Oh, Kamara. I have Kamara smashing this week, especially if Taysom Hill's going to be the read option quarterback. Browns can't stop the run. They're down 2 of their 3 linebackers. They're down Jadeveon Clowney. So it's not like they stack the box. They can do anything. I'm going to go with Kamara. I think Kamara blows up today. Cole, you got Moore or Dillon. Dillon has a higher floor. I don't like the matchup. Miami's lights out against the run, but he has a better floor. He catches some passes too. Moore, it's bad weather, but he could get a long touchdown. That could happen. I don't expect it to happen. I would definitely say the Dillon's a better floor play, but I don't think his ceiling is much in this one because Miami's so good against the run. So if you need like 15 points, you got to swing at the fence for more and take a chance of getting like a 2, but you can get there. But if you can live with 8 or 9 points, Dillon's your guy. Rob, Merry Christmas to you too. Superflex, Heineke, Mac Jones, Swift, Keenan Allen, or Christian Watson. Wow. Swift doesn't play enough snaps. Keenan Allen, they might not have to pound the slot all night. Christian Watson has the upside. I think that game shoots out. But safest floor of this whole group is still Keenan Allen. And your upside guy is Christian Watson. If you want the upside, I'm going to go Christian Watson for the upside. And in a super flex, if you got to match somebody's quarterback, Christian Watson would have the chance of doing that because that Miami secondary is going to be able to hang with him. And they don't disguise blitzes, so Rodgers will know what's coming up front. Luis, I'm going to go Pacheco. His floor is super high this week. It's a great matchup. Joanne, you got White, Swift, or Pacheco. Again, that's funny. That's almost real close. That's the question I just asked. Close. Yeah, I was Thielen in there. Pacheco. I see 15 carries, close to 100 yards, a great chance of scoring. I like Pacheco, a good deal this week. White sharing work. We're not quite sure what we're getting there. Roman, you've got Huntley or Purdy, and Merry Christmas to you as well. Huntley worries me this week. The fierce winds, the cold weather. Purdy, it's not a good matchup for Purdy, but his weapons. Screen some McCaffrey, you can take it to the house. We've seen what Kittle could do. It's a tough spot. I think Purdy would be your play here. I think they both have low floors, but I think Purdy would be the better play for that reason. After the catch, guys. Zio, Dubs or Cooper? Man, so Dubs played some snaps last week. He got targets, but he didn't play a lot of snaps, so that worried me a little bit. But Cooper at 25-mile-an-hour winds worries me even more. But that said, I'm going with Cooper here because maybe he catches something and gets yards after the catch. Here's what I'll tell you. Cooper's your floor play. Cooper's going to probably get you 6 points, which Dubs may not get that. But I think Cooper's not going over 12. I think Dubs could get you 15 if he scores. This game could be a shootout. So Dubs is your boom bust guy, but if you want some bank something, it's going to be Cooper. See how we're doing on questions. I've got now. These are all going to be rapid fire, guys. Sorry. We're already at 20 after the hour, so I got to rapid fire through these. Jordan, Noah Brown. We're going to go with Dotson because you don't test those outside corners, I don't think, from Philly. Max, earbuds broke. That's funny. We're going to go with Slayton. Slayton has a great matchup. Cam Dantzler's out. Love handle. I'm good when I'm thinking he gets 10 targets here. I think the matchup's very good. I'm going to go with him. Kyle, Chark, Burks, or Cooks. Although I do like Chark, it's Goff and freezing environment. Cooks coming back. It's a very favorable matchup. I'm going to go with Cooks for the favorable matchup. Tennessee can't cover anybody. Kyle, Cooks. I think we had. And then if you had to pick two, so it would be Cooks, Chark, Burks. I don't trust Burks as quarterback and the temperatures. All right, next one. Went with Jalen Hurts forever, and now starting Justin Fields. No, he's fine. He's getting 25 PPR points, not PPR, fantasy points every game he's played since he took over and running in week 7. No reason to expect any different. He'll run a lot against Buffalo. Flex Mixon or Christian Watson. Mixon has a very solid floor of 9, 11 points, but I don't think it's a big upside game here against New England. So Watson is your boom bust. If you need 25 points, then you got to play Watson. If you can live with double digits and be safe with it, then it's going to be Mixon. Bucks or the Eagles D. I got to go with the Bucks D. The third string quarterback. Nate, Dobbins, Fournette, Benjamin, sit one. I got to play Dobbins and Fournette. They both are in great spots this week. I like both of their situations here. All right, next one. Pick 2 of 3. McLaurin, Chase, Higgins. All right. I think Chase and Higgins against those New England corners who are smaller, they have a massive advantage. So they're 1 and 2. Number 3 on this list, I'm going to make Watson my number 3. It's a great matchup. This week. Chargers or Titans defense. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Nick Foles, the pressure scheme has been very good from Brandon Staley. Herbert or Fields? I asked this one earlier. I'm going to go with Fields. Herbert's been getting yardage, but not touchdowns. Fields is money with the running. Omar's looks like an awfully long question. Omari, what do we got here? Where's the question? I don't know what the question is. If you have the question, just type me the question. Just give me a quick question. I'll get it for you. Baby Rock, need to Slayton, Goodwin, Waddle. Oh, man. Although I like Slayton and Goodwin a great deal, Waddle's in a great spot. They play zone in Miami, so in Green Bay, so he's fine. Watson, I think it's a great matchup. I think they both have more upside, but they have similar floors. I'm going to go with them. S. Doyle, need a flex. Williams, Hopkins, Walker, Dobbins. Man, I'm not worried about Stephon Gilmore. Mike Williams ain't getting bullied by him. He can bully a lot of people. He ain't bullying Mike Williams. I'm going to go with Mike Williams there. Dobbins would be a consideration. Dobbins has a higher floor than Mike Williams. So if you want to like a 12-point floor, go with Dobbins. I think Williams has the upside where he can crash 20 for you. So that would be the upside boom bust play. Eddie, Lazard and Marquise Brown worth high holding or the time to drop them? I mean, there can't be much on the waiver wire, right? So Lazard could be a drop. He's not getting targets, and now Dobbs is back in, so we're good there. And then your wide receiver 2, we're going with Goodwin on that one. Goodwin is a good play this week. Cooks, James Cook, we don't know the workload. He had 5 and 7 touches the last 2 weeks. He had a 14 prior. Bears are a great matchup. I think Herbert's going to go back to a normal workload, and I think Buffalo can't really stop him. I'm going to go with Herbert there. And then Williams, Hopkins, Walker, or Dobbins. Same deal. Williams, the upside play. Dobbins, the floor play. And then tight end, you got to go with Schultz. Johnson's in 25-mile-an-hour winds. Love him, but not in that one. Palmer, Slayton, Tom. We're going with Slayton. Love the matchup. Slayton or Goodwin. Oh, man. I think Goodwin has a higher floor than Slayton this one. Slayton has a little more ceiling. I'm going to go Goodwin. I think Goodwin has a good matchup. He got gets 10 targets here. If that Vikings pass rush gets home, Slayton could have a little bit of a hitch, whereas Goodwin should be okay. McLaurin or Juju, Kim, Juju's been money when he's been healthy. When he had that concussion a couple weeks running, he was getting targets. He's like 8 to 11 targets a week. His floor is so super high, and McLaurin's ceiling isn't such that it's worth benching Juju. I'm going with Juju for that. He runs inside a lot too, so he's going to avoid Tariq Woolen's not going to deal with him a whole lot. So I think he's fine there. Marcos, Brady or Minshew. Merry Christmas to you, Marcos. I'm going to Minshew. Brady, they might run the ball. Arizona can't stop the run. There have been so many on and off issues, the motivation. Minshew's in a great floor spot this week. He should get you 230 and 2 touchdowns, and with upside for more. Richie James or Dobbs? I'm going to go with Dobbs there. James has a floor. We've established that, I think. But Dobbs, he'll get more snaps this week, and the matchup is wonderful. Mike Williams. I'm going to go with Mike Williams there. White's sharing work. Not so excited there. Joanne, I think we maybe answered this. We're going to go with Pacheco there. Pacheco is a great matchup, great situation. And, okay, next one, Gino or Tua. You know what? Tua's facing a zone defense this week, a soft zone, and he excels in that. I'm going to go with Tua. I think Tua has a ceiling game here. And then Fournette, Goodwin, Chark, or Moore. Fournette and Goodwin are excellent plays. Both have good floors and ceilings this week. Chark I like, but the weather's going to be the limiting factor. And Moore gets they get Brandon Cooks back, so I don't like that. Cleveland or Dallas defense? I'm going to go with Cleveland defense. The weather's going to be torturous. Marcos, Titans or Browns? Titans are too beat up. I'm going to go with the Browns. Herbert or Fields? We're going with Fields there. His floor is too high. Herbert just hasn't been getting the touchdowns. Super flex. Willis or Lazard? That one we got to go. Lazard's only getting a couple targets the last few weeks, and he might be the third option in the passing game right now. We're going to go, if Willis runs for 40 yards, I don't know if he does. I'm going to go with Willis just for that reason. Doyle, you need a flex. Williams, Hopkins. I think I answered this one already. I answered that already. Rob, Goodwin, Sutton, or Gabe Davis? I'm going with Goodwin here. Like his floor. I think he has a reasonable ceiling with the rest. Gabe Davis or Cooks? I'm going to go with Cooks here. He's healthy. Mills will lean on him. I don't think Davis can get anything downfield. This is a 22-mile-an-hour winds in Chicago. Michael, Chark, Davis, or Goodwin? Yeah, I'm all about Goodwin today. I'm all about Goodwin. Chark I like, but not enough ceiling. Gabe Davis, nothing downfield, I don't think. Walker, I'm going with Juju. Juju has a great matchup. When he's been healthy, he's getting 8 to 11 targets. Walker could get scripted out of that game. Purdy or Goff? Goff, we don't like Goff on the road. But I think, and Purdy doesn't have a great matchup either. I think they're going to pressure him a bit, and they're going to run the ball. Coin flip, I'm going to go with Goff barely. If you have a gut feel, go with it. Eric, Hurts and Lamar Rush. You start Watson, Willis, or Baker. Baker gets Denver. That's not a matchup. That's not a good match. Their corners are outstanding. I'm going to go with Watson. Watson might run for 40 yards today, so I might go with him. Jay, Fields or Burrow? Oh, man. Fields' floor is so high. I want to go with Fields just for the floor. Burrow could be hit or miss here. New England could dirty the game up a little bit. Burrow's a fine play. If you have a gut feeling, go with it. I think Fields' rushing floor is so high. I got to go with that. Mixon and Najee. I'm going to – oh, man. You know what? New England's really good against run. I'm going to go with Najee. I think Najee is going to be a good night for him in the cold weather. They're going to really lean on the running game. And then Goodwin or Hopkins. Oh, man. If I tell you to sit Hopkins and he goes off, that's a problem. And I know it's Trace McSorley. I still think he gets 7 targets. I can't sit DeAndre Hopkins because he ultimately can win against anyone. So and that's it. Goodwin's going to have a good game. So if you in your heart feel Hopkins is going to bust out, with a bust, then you go with Goodwin. I'm not going to tell somebody to sit Hopkins. I can't do it. I just can't do it. If there's another elite player, but I can't do it. Randy, Ayuk or Slayton? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, but we got Brock Purdy. Yeah, we got to throw everything out. Trends, Randy, got to throw trends out here because Brock Purdy's the quarterback, and they're going to bring a pass rush too. You know what? Brandon Ayuk's not getting many targets. They're just running with McCaffrey. I got to go with Slayton. The matchup's too good. Doyle, need a flex. Williams, I answered this already. Gypsy, Pollard, Walker, Cook, Kamara. You need 3. All right. Got to play Dalvin Cook. A great matchup. Kamara, I see in a smash spot here. And so my third one is going to be this. Stevenson's your floor play. He'll have a solid floor. Pollard's your boom bust guy. This could be a tough matchup, but he also could break a long run or two. So go with Walker and Cook. And then if you want safe at Stevenson, if you got to shoot for the stars and risk some downside, it's going to be Pollard. Judy or Moss. I got to go Judy there, Eric. Got to go Judy. Moss, I don't know what his role is going to be. Joanne Sutton or Goodwin. We're going with Goodwin there. Goodwin's have a great matchup, great opportunity. Rubin, Cooks, Goodwin, Schultz. I like Cooks the best of them. But, man, I think Schultz can have a game in the middle of the field. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's out. You know what? I think Schultz is the best chance of scoring of the 3. Goodwin has the highest floor of the 3. Goodwin has the highest floor. Cooks is a hybrid. I'm going to go with Schultz. I think Schultz scores a touchdown today. I think that sets it for me. CD Smitty, Hopkins, Walker, Sanders, Montgomery. I'm playing the 2 running backs. Love Sanders. No Leighton Vander Esch. Montgomery, Buffalo can't stop the run. Walker could be game scripted out. Hopkins, these are 2 starting running backs, so I could take him over Hopkins. Jared, it's got to be Elliott. He's had a floor. He's had double-digit fantasy points, like 15 plus in like 6 or 7 straight games. He always runs well against Philly, going that route. Reuben. Yeah, we're going Schultz. Doyle, I think you asked that too many times. You got to ask it once and be good. All right, man. Dobbins, Mixon. I'm going to go Dobbins. The commitment to the running game there will be a little bit better. I'm going to go with that. Question A, McKinnon or Kamara? I'm going with Kamara there. I think Kamara's in a smash spot here. And you know what? McKinnon, he scored 30 points 2 weeks in a row, right? And Kamara hasn't done that all year. Merry Christmas to you. I just think that it's going to be a big running game. And Cleveland's down 2 linebackers. They're down Clowney. That's it. Brian, yeah, thank you. Please hit the like button on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, follow me at Jim Cuppers for NFL. I appreciate that greatly too. Happy holidays. Thanks, Brian. Algier or P. Ryan? Wow, that's a 50-50, man. That's a 50-50. That's a great question. Algier will get more opportunities in the run game. P. Ryan will get more in the pass game. I probably go 52% P. Ryan, 48% Algier. Pollard or Kamara? I think Kamara's in a smash spot here. Love Pollard. I think Kamara's in a great spot. Guillotine League sit 1. Oh, man. Let's say Diggs because of the 22-mile-an-hour winds. Let's say that. Zio, happy holidays to you too. James, Jackson, Boyd, or Cook. Pick 1. You know, man. I'm going to go with Boyd here. They all have usage concerns, right? Richie James may have a better floor than the rest of them, but the floor is just low. Whereas Boyd at least could come up with a big play in the middle of the field. I'm not going to go with that. Cook's 5 and 7 touches in the last 2. Don't know if he gets more. No way to predict that. Doyle, you need a flex. Williams, Hopkins. I answered that already too, I think, right? Williams and then Schultz. Eddie, Mixon, Walker, McKinnon. We're going to sit Walker there. I think Walker could get phased out of this game. Retro. P. Ryan, because of his passing game, chops 52 to 48%. Super close. Trust your gut. Eric, I love Goodwin this week. Should have a lot of opportunity. We're going to go with him. Gypsy, we're going with – I got like Cooks or Goodwin. I like them both. the more I think this through, I'm leaning Goodwin. I just think his opportunities are going to be higher. Retro, we answer that. Aaron Rodgers, I have my number 6 quarterback. The matchup is perfect for him this week. Wow, sitting one of those, that's a tough one. I'd probably sit Fournette of the 3 because of the timeshare, but you trust your gut. It's that close. Chubb, I got to play Chubb. I know McKinnon's at 30 points 2 weeks in a row. This game's got to be all about the run. I got to go with Chubb here. You have to sit one of those. I would sit Walker. I think he can get game scripted out. Answer that one already. Daniel, I got to go Kamara. I love McKinnon, but Kamara, I think it's a great matchup. Joanne, we got to go with Goddard there. I think Freiermuth, that 0 last week kind of did it. Goddard should have a normal snap share. Rashad White, Chark, or Foreman. I like Foreman this week. I think he's going to have high usage, and I think the matchup's not scary. Kathy, Justin Fields' floor is so high, we can't sit him. Smith has a nice floor, but he doesn't have a Justin Fields floor, and I don't know how much ceiling there is. I got to go with Justin Fields. I think they're going to run. The weather helps Fields probably. Jared, we're going to go with Watson there. Hopkins is a 3rd-string quarterback. Answer that. Guys, please stop spamming the question. Just ask him once. I get to you. Pollard or Kamara. I like Kamara. I think he's a smash spot this week. Cooks or Goodwin. I like Goodwin a little bit better than Cooks. It's close. Trust your gut. Ayuk, Moss, Jackson, Gallup, and Chris Moore. All right, here I don't think Ayuk's in a great spot, but I think not only is he the best player, if he gets opportunities, he can do the most with it. I'm going to go with him for that. Randy, I like both Goodwin and Slayton here. I think Goodwin has a higher floor this week. Admiral, you're welcome. Merry Christmas, Randy, you're welcome. Gino or Justin, we're going with Justin for the higher floor. Merry Christmas, Slim. I'm going to go with Chark here. I think Chark doesn't have a ceiling, but I think his floor is really good. He can get a big play there. I'm going to go with him. Jordan, Pollard, or Ramondre. Ramondre is a bad matchup. DJ Reader on the inside makes it really, really tough. I'm going to go Pollard there. Pollard has the explosiveness like Ramondre has, so I think they'll have similar type of usage. George, Burrow, or Fields. Fields' floor is too high. We got to go with the floor, I believe. If you have a gut feel, go with that. Willis or Curtis Samuel. I'm betting Samuel under 30 yards because the middle of the field is death against the 49ers. I think Willis is awful, but if he runs for 40 yards, he's got it. I'm going to go with Willis. I'm going to go with the Ravens D because the Titans are so beat up. Guy, I'm sorry. Let's see here. You need pick 2. Goodwin for sure. Peoples-Jones, the wins are too heavy. Chris Moore's going to compete with Cooks now. Hollins, bad weather. I'm going with Goodwin, and I'm going to go with Hollins. Bengals or Browns D. I think the Bengals, because if they get out the lead, that could be problematic for Mac Jones. McLaurin or Thielen. Thielen has a higher floor. McLaurin has a higher upside. I would base it on that. Thielen, I think, is going to get you 8 to 10 points, but not higher. McLaurin can get you a 4 to a 20 because the deep shots can be hit. So trust based on what your lineup needs, go with that. Denver or Tampa D. I'm going to go with the Tampa D with a 3rd-string quarterback against them. And last question, Algier or Patterson. I'm going with Patterson. He has a chance of actually breaking a long run. Algier, it's a bad matchup. Good luck, everybody. We will talk soon.